all here. Which microphone? In case you can't tell, I have not practiced. We're all here for the same reason, at least the students. We're about to graduate from high school, but this is where we diverge. Some of us want to head off to college. Some of us want to take a gap year. Some of us want nothing to do with college or school ever again. And that's fine, because we're all different and need to be different. None of us have had or will have the same experiences or the same path. What is important to one person will be unimportant to the next. What is important, though, is that we play our part in directing the path. We need goals that are important to us, goals that we are willing to work and fail for, because failure is and always will be a part of any successful person's process. And along the way, we need to have a little bit of fun. We need to make goals that are important to us. Don't compare yourself to others. They have their own goals. Just work to attain your goals. I learned early on that I don't think the same way most people do. Kindergarten was a bit of a nightmare. The teacher had these two boxes, the hot box and the finished work box. The hot box had red flames painted on the side. That's where I would put my work that wasn't finished yet. The finished work box was exactly what it sounds like. I didn't really mind putting my work into the hot box, but it sure felt good to put my work into the finished box. I'm pretty sure that happened once, maybe twice. It took several years for me to realize that I needed to pay attention to myself and not to other people. I needed to create my own goals and do what I needed to in order to reach them, and not care that the process would be different. I decided I wanted to do well in school, so I took my time learning new material rather than just rushing through my homework. As I moved into the upper grades, I realized I understood the concepts better when I did this, and did well on the tests as a result. It worked most of the time, but not all of the time. I had my fair share of failures. I learned I could either pivot or try the same thing again with new information. Either way, I found I was more likely to succeed the second time around. Probably the most recent and notable failure I've had was last year's science fair project. I knocked over a bottle I really shouldn't have, and wasn't able to generate enough data as a result. There were many mentally ill obscenities. I was seriously bummed, and I didn't do well in the fair. But I did learn what I needed to do for this year's science fair and didn't let it go to waste. I learned how to transform bacteria so they would synthesize an intended protein. I learned how antibodies interact with proteins and how to manipulate these interactions. And I learned how to run the various tests and procedures I needed for this year's project. I ended up doing well this year, and I'm grateful for the experience all around. I've also learned to have fun along the way. Few goals are worth your sanity. Sometimes I get pretty tunnel visioned and have to remind myself to schedule a break. Sometimes taking the weekend off to rest and play video games is what you need. Not all the time, mind you, but sometimes it is. That's all part of the learning process, I suppose, figuring out balance to life. LPA class of 2024, we've got the rest of our lives ahead of us. That's both terrifying and awesome. We've got time to do all kinds of really fun and productive activities, so let's not waste it.